Welcome, Unity community and beyond. This is our spotlight series on Unity Living Facilitators. So you, our general audience members, can get acquainted with our facilitators and learn all about their unique approach to the Unity Living process and just how they like to work with their clients. We're here today with Level 2 Facilitator, Tommy Whiteside, who hails from jolly old England. Tommy, welcome. What a pleasure it is to meet you finally.
Hi, Renata. Thanks for having me. Yeah, cool. Thanks.
So let's just start from the beginning. How did you first hear about the Unity Living process and how did you get involved, and what eventually made you want to become a facilitator? I'm fascinated by this.
Well, I never set out to be a facilitator of the bubble. I was just kind of going through my own stuff, and I'd woken up to a certain degree, and I was kind of observing my own shit, and I couldn't really figure it out. I was doing all sorts of shamanic ceremony. I was doing different types of all sorts of stuff. Just meditating as much as I could and trying to figure stuff out. And I did a lot of, I felt like I did a lot of work. I felt like I'd shifted a lot. And also I was going through the whole kind of like, just judgment really, self-judgment, judgment from friends and family members and just society. So I was kind of privately asking for something that I could find that would make me believe, you know, like, not believe, but to have that knowing that what I was doing was getting rid of this stuff, because this energy that was I was observing, so it was not mine, let's say. I wanted rid of it, but everything I'd tried, I'd got rid of it and then it would come back. I'd get rid of it. Oh, I feel amazing, I feel so clear, and I was like, I'm doing it. And then I'd wake up in a week's time and I'd be back and I'd be reacting to the same situation and I'd be like getting frustrated by the same situation. So I was talking to a friend who had the bubble, and she recommended the bubble. So I'd never kind of invested in any therapy or anything like that before. Not saying it's therapy, but that kind of money investment on self. I'd never took that kind of plunge before. But when I was starting to kind of think about the bubble and I got in touch with Hazel and I had a call with Hazel, I was like, do it, sign me up, do it, done. And then when I got the bubble, like the feeling for me, like the feeling that I got, it wasn't kind of made up, because I'm quite a skeptical person. So when I felt the bubble actually there, and then when I started working with it and I could feel the energy was leaving, I was like, wow, I could see the gift it was for me and the way it kind of alchemized my own shit. And then that's why I became a facilitator, because I thought, if this is something you can do for other people, this gift that I found, or the gift that found me, then why would I not do that? It's literally that, why would I not do that just so I can do it for my friends at least? And most of my friends have got bubbles. Some family members have bubbles. I've done a few of my friends' pets, and it's just, it's a beautiful thing. And the transformation is wonderful to watch. So yeah, that's why I became.
Wonderful. So you worked with Hazel, and so Hazel was your mentor.
Yeah, Hazel was my mentor. I could spend all night talking how amazing Hazel is, and even the other day after the process, and even bubbling my own people. But I emailed her just thanking her, you know, and I just said thank you, and it makes me cry when the amount of love that I have for that lady is just unbelievable. So yeah, Hazel is the divine Mrs. O,
the divine
Mrs. H. Mrs. O, we don't do that.
No. Yeah, so speaking of transformation, so can you give me an example of something that you've noticed in one of your clients? Like what was the situation that you were working with, and how were you able to transform that for that individual?
It's just through conversation, really. I just hold a space for them to be able to dig deep. I like to get kind of, let's just make a joke out of it. Let's just kind of think about it objectively, make a joke out of it, And without minimizing it, we kind of just see the humor in it. And my energy just allows that. So then, for instance, like I worked with a lady who was a worrier, big worrier. And she was always trying to figure things out. And like, even just giving her the bubble gave her a space, a feeling of home. And it gave her that patience with self, not to have to figure everything out. So that allowed the energy to kind of settle. Then she was able to do the exploration into the stuff we want to get rid of. So, but there's loads of other things. There's people have stepped up. People have been able to kind of realize their own shit and realize the problems in relationships they were creating themselves. So like the bubble just talking to me and figuring out where the root of it was, not just the branch. And it's just a beautiful exploration of conversation, really. But the transformation has just been amazing. Like, I don't really want to share the stories because they're so personal to people. And I have a lot of friends who know each other. So if I share stories of that, it's kind of, do you know what I mean? But it's the transformations are just beautiful. And people are saying like they're doing things and thinking things, not just doing things, but thinking things about themselves that they have never thought of before. Beautiful things, you know, like, which is just wonderful. So yeah, it's lovely.
Well, it is one of the greatest gifts to humanity, and what a great gift it is to be able to pass it on to others. Because I've, you know, as a facilitator myself, I don't know about you, but I am overjoyed when I see the transformation in the people that I work with. And and it's like getting the gift all over again for myself. It's like every time, right?
Yeah. And it's like because every time I transmit a bubble, it reminds me of when I got my own. And it's almost like I know, even if they don't, because let's be honest, I've bubbled some of my friends and bubbled some people as well, clients. I don't really know what you want to call them, but like not just friends. And I can't remember what I was going to say then. This does it a lot. But yeah, so when I bubble them, it kind of, even if some of my friends or some people think, oh, well, okay, I'll get one, but it's not really there, blah, blah. They don't really connect with it. And they almost deny it in a way. And, but then after a couple of like weeks or something, we start talking about it, then they become aware of it. So like, even in the moment of when I bubble somebody, I know the quality of the gift, you know, like even if they just say thank you, I know that space is just beautiful. The transformation is going to happen. Like, it does take a bit of working with it, but even the space around you, even if you just live with it, it's going to be beautiful. So I just love it. You know, like when you do it, and then every time you do the protocols, I get this wide, like I thought, oh yeah, I know everything about the protocols. Like I've got them, you know, like whatever. And like, there's nothing more to learn. But every time I transmit one, it just grows. And even yesterday, my whole feeling and understanding of, say, the flow state changed. Because I used to feel like it flowed the energy, almost speeded things up for me. But what it actually did with me, it just spreads it now. And I don't attach to any of it. And I just observe it. And it's just a flow, you know, like it's not the same kind of, so every time it's changing and changing. And I love the exploration, and it takes me deeper into myself, which then helps me help other people with their own stuff. So yeah, I think it's exciting.
Well, we never stay the same, do we? We're growing too. Just because we're facilitators doesn't mean that, you know, like we put the cap on and that's it, right? It's like, no. And each client, each person that we work with brings something unique to us. And, you know, we're all, in the words of Ram Dass, I'm sure you know Ram Dass, we're all just walking each other home, right? So I always feel like I'm learning just as much from everyone that I work with, as much as I hope that they're learning about the Unity Living process and about themselves, right?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. And we were just talking a little bit off camera about, you were talking about how wonderful it is that when you were trying different modalities, when you were finding yourself as a young person, you know, as a young starseed, which I'm going to talk to you about that shortly. You mentioned that you had tried so many other different approaches to self-actualization, and you would get rid of the negativity for a while, but then it would come back. So and then you found the Unity Living process. So can you elaborate on that for us?
Yeah, I can really. That you just basically said what it was. Like yeah, that's all it was. Like I had a bit of I kind of woke up. There was a few things that happened to me, like quite traumatic events in my life. And one of them actually was, well, it ended up with a near-death experience. So when I came out of that, just everything seemed to change. And I was living in the city centre, going out, enjoying myself, like very materialistic and flashy car and this and that. And after that, I didn't really feel safe in the city. So I moved out of the city because I own a fish and chip shop in Bolton. Okay. And I decided to move above the chippy, and which just changed my life, really. So I started having a bit more time. I started reading, which I thought was very strange because I'd never picked up a book in my life. Oh. And so I started reading more about that, the mind, and I read a few books. And then I started observing and realizing things in my own way. Like I used to think about everything, overthink everything. I was a worrier. I used to kind of create drama in my life just to kind of, well, keep me distracted, really. So after this experience, I started noticing these little spaces between my thoughts. So that's when I started getting interested in meditation, and I tried everything, and it was good. I mean, I was rising, and my knowledge was understanding, and I could feel the shift, and I was in a better place where I'd been, let's say. But when I eventually found the Unity bubble, there was things I didn't understand. There was things in my body that felt like me because they were very familiar to me. They existed in my stomach area and in my heart and things like that. And I couldn't figure out what the energy was linked to. I couldn't work out so when I was going into these like shamanic ceremonies and this and that and trying to release negativity and release this, release that, there was these things that was still there that I couldn't remember, if that makes sense. So with the bubble's help, I was able to go down into that energy with the safety and the protection of the bubble, because it gives you this sense of like, let's do this, because it's got you back. But in the past, when I was doing the ceremonies, I felt very unsupported because it was lack of self-worth type thing. But or lack of confidence, I don't know what it was, but it was some lack. But with the bubble, that kind of took it all away and gave me the safety and the space to free dive, I like to say. And I just free dived into it, deep dived into it, and just was able to shift it. And then when I did eventually give it to the bubble, it got rid of it. And that thing, like I honestly, with Hazel, I've talked to Hazel for so many hours, as I'm sure you have, and she never seems bored, which I just think, wow. But no, I know. I mean, of me. But
how could anybody be bored of you, Tommy? You're delightful.
Which is great. But that feeling for me, I know it's just like, oh yeah, you let go of that old pattern. But for me, that was the one thing I was trying to get rid of, that feeling of unsafety. You know, like the thing that I couldn't get rid of was the feeling of unsafety. And the bubble gave me that feeling to get rid of it. So it's been an amazing process. And to now be in a place of self-acceptance, really, and to kind of just be and not really want or need anything from anybody, and to kind of enjoy life. Like I'm feeling so peaceful, you know, you're at peace with everything. It's like when something comes up in my life now, like maybe a curved ball, you see it, you feel the kind of reaction coming, but you don't, it's just like, no, I'm at peace with that. It's like we've been there, done that, and now we're in a space where we can get our vessel ready to receive the miracles that are coming to us. Because I don't want a vessel full of anger and full of pain and full of fear. If I'm going to create miracles, it's just not going to work. So this is the whole process has enabled me to kind of get out of the mind, get out of the emotional body, look at my vessel and think, what am I projecting into this universe now? Because this is my responsibility. And I want peace. I want peace. So that's what the bubbles help me to do. So it's beautiful. That's why I want to share it with everyone. Right.
Well, exactly. So speaking of bringing to the universe, you're obviously clearly a divine traveler, a starseed. What is your message now that you've discovered your true identity? Let's just say, what is your message to others who may be on the precipice of discovering their uniqueness on this planet?
I'd say don't add too many words to it, because it doesn't have to be that complicated, because everything we talk about seems like this mountain of knowledge or something you need to figure out, or 10,000 books to read or whatever. But the shift is very subtle, and it's about trying to tell the mind, thank you, settle it down, and to find that bit inside of you that is peace, because the peace exists within you. It's built from you, and all the words and all the stories and all the personality and the stories of the ego, let's face it, they were all created not by you. It's from some past version of you. So now we can kind of be aware of that, allow the mind just to rest and bring in that sense of you, because without that, you are left. And that's the beauty of everything. So, and the feeling of that is peace. So that's what I want to help people get to. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. But I would say to people, just give yourself time, give yourself a break. Your trauma is bad, but so is everybody's else. You know what I mean? Yours isn't the worst. It doesn't need to be personal. These things we asked for, and any contrast you have in your life is just a time to shine. And it's just giving you that opportunity to shine, to choose to shine, not become the contrast, just choose to shine. And we can have fun along the way. It doesn't have to be sat in a cave in silence. Like, we can have fun. We can dance around a fire, or we can talk and cry, or go out for a drink, or do whatever you want. Like, spirituality is not like boring. Do you know what I mean? It's a beautiful experience. And at the end of it, you'll know who you are. Well, you'll definitely know who you're not and what you're not. So.
Well, that is really profound. And anyone working with you should count themselves extremely lucky.
And
just a quick question. Of course, humans are the same all over the world. At our core, I think that given the country location of and the ley lines and the energy and the history of the planet, England in itself has had quite a traumatic history. I'm just wondering if you can sense that. I mean, you're from there, but is that something that's palpable to you? And does it come through when you're working with people because maybe they're having past life experiences of, earlier, trauma from other generations or this kind of stuff? I'm just curious to know your perspective from working particularly with those with British, those in England.
To be honest, I couldn't really answer that question, because I work with people in the fish and chip shop. Obviously, they're all from around here, and there's a lot of fear, and but there's also a lot of love. Like, it wouldn't be. I don't really focus on which side is heavy. Like, there's beautiful, anyway. But I work with friends, and I've got friends all over the world. So it's like, I know I'm from England, and I do love England, and I love the countryside, I love the forests, and I do love England, the northwest of England, and but I don't feel from here, because I've got friends in the States, in Canada, in all over. So, but we do have ancestral trauma, and this is the thing. A lot of the time, the energies that we're experiencing in our current life could be, perhaps, how many don't know, perhaps what do you want to do? But they could be ancestral trauma that have got no relevance to our life now. So this is why we can just shift it generally, feel the energy, choose not to want that energy anymore. This doesn't feel good. Let's shift that. Because we can't always, I don't do that past life therapy. I have had that done, but it's not something I would do with my clients. But I think that's all good, but sometimes we can't figure it out unless you've got a facilitator who can help you figure it out. The energy is still able to be shifted if you're ready to let it go. And it's just having that, does this feel good? Does this not feel good? And sometimes when you do let an energy go that you can't, or maybe you can't fully understand, sometimes you'll get a different perspective on it once it's shifted, and it will bring clarity and understanding once it's gone. You know what I mean? So there's any which way you want to do it. There's no rule. I would never say I'm working with you this way and you that way and you that way. I don't really have a set way I work with people. I just work with the people. So whatever they need, I try and give them. They always get. It's funny. And if I ask them a question, they'll give me an answer and they don't know where that's come from. And it's like, we get this, you get in that flow state and you think, oh my God. And then by the end of it, they're having revelations. I'm having revelation. Wow. So it's just getting that flow and getting that confidence and the trust. Once the trust is built, then there's no stopping any healing, I think.
Well, I can't think of a better sentence on which to wrap this up. And I look forward to another spotlight with you, Tommy. Let's do it in another few months, or even sooner if you like. There's something that comes about. I have a feeling the world is about to make a few shifts, and it may be beneficial that we get together and chat once again when those things occur, and so that we can address certain things that will be coming up, I think, for the human collective. And it's been an absolute pleasure to meet you, and I am honored to be a facilitator alongside of you. Welcome to the Unity Living process, and I know Hazel's over the moon, joyful, joyous, happy that you've joined us, and I look forward to your growth and when we can call you a master facilitator. I hope very soon. I have a feeling it's going to be very soon.
Yeah, thanks for that, Renata. I do appreciate all that what you said, and I agree. It's just beautiful. And I do want to become a master. So I said to Hazel last time we spoke, I was like, master next, please. Just because master, master. Yeah, master. I think I'll change my name to that, Master Tommy. Yeah. But anyway, thank you very much.
Interesting. Wait, this is really interesting. So I was listening to somebody who was nattering on about how can you call yourself a master, blah, 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 blah. You can't call yourself a master anything unless you actually make whatever it is go away for good. And I just started smiling on the inside.
Yeah.
Right?
But also, I see master, I'll say this and then we can go. But I think master, what is master? It's a label, yeah? It's just a label.
Yeah.
But like when the label on the soup tin has nothing to do with the contents. It's a label. If we feel like we want to say master, I'll be a master. Do you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't matter. Exactly. It doesn't mean anything because the labels all fall off anyway. So anyway.
I love it, Tommy. And I reiterate what I said earlier. Anyone working with you should consider themselves absolutely lucky and super blessed. And it's been just a fabulous chat. And I can't wait to do it again.
Me neither. Thank you very much.
Okay. Cheers. Thanks, Tommy.